Okay, guys, so at this point, let's say you're finished. We're going to review all that stuff. You've finished your dyno, your basic block model in Cinema, and you're ready to get it, just send it over to ZBrush. I have one that I did in the past. This is an older one where I did a sale on the dinosaurs. So you have your half. You're going to put it inside the symmetry over here. Remember, you get your symmetry right here, and the symmetry mirrors it on a different plane. You know, so you want to make sure you put it on the right one, because if it's on the wrong one, it'll look weird. So you're going to go to take the symmetry, and you're going to go get what's called a hypernerve or a subdivision surface, and this makes the mesh. So like right now we have a really low resolution blocky mesh. That's, you know, the mesh is like a chicken wire mesh, you know, so like a wireframe. You know, because you can go look at it at lines. That's what they call it, mesh. Anyways, you're going to put that into a hypernerve. You're not going to do much to the hypernerve or the subdivision surface. It used to be called hypernerve. That's from an older file. And it has a subdivision editor and a subdivision renderer, and you can just leave it on default. It's fine. And you can see it gets really smooth. You can go look at it with grout shading and lines and see it has way more resolution and stuff. So at this point, what you're going to want to do is take this and export it. But before you do, turn off your symmetry, turn off your subdivision, maybe even go to grout shading lines and really look at it. Do you have any weird creases or bends or anything like that's just bizarre twists, twisty polygons that are just not looking the way that you think they should look, like they're twisting around or bending? Those sometimes can come into ZBrush as tears. Even though, like, you're like, I did what you said, dude, and I have a symmetry and I did subdivision and everything was smooth thesaurus, and you know, I did the set point value stuff like you said under commands, and everything was like coming together seamlessly from the symmetry and all that kind of stuff. There's no like weird stuff happening in the middle, but maybe on the arms and legs and other portions underneath the legs and the creases. Clean that up if you can before. Look at anything messy, sloppy, overlapping, especially overlapping points or twisty points, and clean those up, okay? Once you got it in the subdivision surface, you're now ready to go to the next step, which is to go to mesh and do a current state to object. It will become a polygon, and you can just make sure you connect all that. Connect plus delete, and you can delete the original one, and there's your mesh. Now when you save this, you're going to want to save it as I don't know, Dino mesh. Dino mesh. And make sure that you save a version of it like this, and then you want to also make sure you save a version of it beforehand, so all cleaned up. So before you even make that, make sure you save this in case you screw it up, like if you bring the mesh into ZBrush and there's a tear or something in it and you have to go back to this and kind of clean it up a little bit and then re-export it. Keep a version of this too, so save this as Dino final pre-mesh or something. Okay, so that you know which is which. Okay, and then you go to mesh and do a current state to object. Take that null and polygon object and just convert it, and then delete, and then you end up with this. That's your mesh. Save this too. Save this as Dino mesh. And now we're ready to export it into ZBrush. To export it into ZBrush, you're going to go to File Export, and you're going to export it as an OBJ file, which is at the bottom, Wavefront OBJ. Wavefront used to be like the computers to do 3D modeling on before the desktops could, way back in the day. They were like super computers and they cost $1 zillion. They weren't Macs or PCs. You go to Wavefront OBJ, and I would, call this Dino Final Mesh OBJ, and you just go ahead and hit OK to this. You don't really need to do too much to this. We can come back and convert it if we do. Go ahead and crash. Dino Final Mesh OBJ. All right, so now it's exported, and now you may proceed to ZBrush. You're gonna find ZBrush in your dock. It looks like a little stick man running. I don't know why they have that logo, but we're gonna bring it up into ZBrush. I might have crashed ZBrush because I leave it open. In fact, let's just reboot all this stuff that's not responding. This has nothing to do with anything. Don't look at that. All right, ZBrush. When ZBrush opens up, it has this stupid like web browser thing that they try to make you do. Like this thing will pop up, ZBrush homepage, and it has some interesting like how to do this, how to do that tutorials, but for the most part, it's annoying. And this is ZBrush, okay? And I believe under preferences, screensaver, you can put this onto 1,000,000 and it won't come up anymore. All right, so how you're gonna get your file in here, this will pop up. It has like pre-built stuff in it. I think it might, I don't know what it'll look like for you, but I don't know, maybe something like this. It'll have all this like resource files, like pre-built models and brushes and just stuff, for ZBrush. Kind of like, how Cinema had the pre-built materials and things like that, and pre-built models. ZBrush gives you stuff too. ZBrush works completely different from Cinema 4D, okay? It's going to be like, you going to an alien world now, and everything works differently on this alien world. Land is water, water is land. It's all weird, okay? So we're going to have to get used to it. I'm going to have to give you a driving lesson, but right now I just want to teach you how to get it in here, and then I'll give you a separate driving lesson tutorial, and we'll do it in class for ZBrush. So don't try to do anything once you bring it in, other than bring it in, okay? And so to get rid of this thing, basically my point is you just have to go up here where it says Lightbox and click on that again. And you're going to go over here to where it says Import, and you're going to go get your Dino file. So what I name that? Dino Final Mesh OBJ. And hopefully, I don't know, it doesn't look like it actually exported for me. It looks like it may have crashed when I exported it. Let's see if we can bring in another one here. Oh, let's just hit it and see what happens. All right, when you get it, you're going to click and drag out your Dino, okay? So I'm going to undo that. So like go up here and then click and drag down and make it as big as you can. Don't worry about it being crooked or anything. We're bringing it in. So there we go. All right. Now, before you do anything, because if you click and drag again, you're going to be basically painting dinos. So you want to just click and drag. Don't worry about it if it's at an angle. Just make it as big as you can. And the first thing before you click again is you want to go up to Edit right here, and then go over to here where it says Make Polymesh 3D. And now you can just basically click on your screen with your mouse, and that's how we rotate. There are tools to do that, but I'll show you. We're going to use keyboard shortcuts. And so rotating around, if you hold down your shift key, it will snap it to various 45 degrees. Okay, that's how you'll get it straightened out. If you hold down your option key and your mouse button at the same time, you can move it around. That's the move one. Just holding down your mouse button will allow you to rotate it around. And then the tricky one is if you hold down the option key and the mouse button at the same time, but you let go of the option key while still holding down the mouse button, you can scale it in and out. And so it becomes really fast to do all that movement and stuff like that. You also have a rotation tool up there on the head that you can click on, and you can flip it different degrees and directions with this little arrow tool up here. Now, sometimes because the resolution your monitor is set at, and you might have an older machine, you might have like some tools over here, and you might have to like hold down to get to those tools, or they might not show up. But don't worry if, like, I go to a tool, we're not going to use too many tools over there. And if it does give you any crap over here, you can find it all up here in the menu bar. So that's where I'm going to kind of just leave it. And then we'll continue with our basic ZBrush driving lesson on a basic object, not our dinosaur. So how do we save this now so we can sculpt it later? Is we go to File, and we go to Save As. It'll be called ZBrush Project. You can call it Dino ZBrush Project if you want, or put your name on it because other classes are going to save. So I would say, like, you know, Dubin Dino ZBrush Project, and save it into your folder. You may even want to create a new folder just to put your ZBrush into it. It likes that a lot. And then you hit save, okay? And then you're done with ZBrush for now. And next lesson will be sculpting in ZBrush. All right, so see you in class.